In this video, I'm going to break down the best areas to buy an investment property in Connecticut. And the best area depends what your final goal is. There's two major ways to invest in real estate. There's appreciation or there's cash flow every month. Usually you can't get both. You're either going to get cash flow or appreciation. Some people settle for markets that are right in the middle. They don't get a lot of cash flow, but they get a little bit of appreciation. First, I'm going to talk about cash flow because when people think about real estate investing, this is what they're really thinking of. If you're looking for cash flow right now, there's three markets that I would suggest. There's Bridgeport, Connecticut, Waterbury, Connecticut, and New Haven, Connecticut. The advantages of these three markets is that it's easy to rent and they're close to New York City. All these places are within an hour and a half of New York City. But if you ask me, what's the best market for cash flow? I would say at the moment, and this can change in 2-3 months, it could be a different market. But at this moment, New Haven, Connecticut is the best cash flow market. And in my opinion, right now, it's a rare opportunity where there is cash flow in New Haven. And I also see appreciation in New Haven. Now, there's a big issue with New Haven. And that is that Bridgeport went from a cash flow market to more of an appreciation market in the last 3 to 5 years. Waterbury, the same is happening. So right now, New Haven, Connecticut is the last market that's a strong cash flow market that is close to New York City. Now, you might think this is good, but it isn't, because it's the final market that allows for cash flow, which means that the investors that were buying in Bridgeport and Waterbury are now targeting New Haven, which eventually in a year or two is going to turn New Haven from a cash flow market to more of an appreciation market. In New Haven, Connecticut, you could buy a multifamily, 3-family for about $500,000 to $550,000. This is a big 3-family, about 3,000 or more square feet. And you can rent a 2-bedroom for about $1,600 to $1,700 and a 3-bedroom from $1,900 to $2,200. It really depends on the finishes and the size of the unit. Also, area is very important. A lot of these multifamilies in this price range that I just mentioned are going highest and best, which means that when you go and see it, you're not the only offer. A lot of these properties have 3 to 5 offers. If the property has good finishes or is renovated, expect to compete against 15 to 20 offers. Now, this is good and bad. It's bad because when you're buying the property, you're going to compete and probably going to have to go over the purchase price. But it's good because once you own the property, you bought in a strong market, a stable market, a market that is still growing, even when interest rates went up. So that means that you don't really have to worry about your property losing value. And this is one of the major reasons that a lot of people are buying in these markets. A lot of places in the US at the moment have decreased in price, but Connecticut has just kept increasing. Now I'm going to give you what I consider a balanced market, a market that has cash flow and it also has a little bit of appreciation, and that would be Waterbury, Connecticut. Waterbury, Connecticut has good rents. The prices are not that high for the multifamilies yet, so you can get a good multifamily somewhere between $400,000 and $500,000. It's not going to be easy to find a multifamily that makes sense for you, but if you stay on the market, you look for like a month or two, you'll eventually find something that fits your needs. And that is something that I cannot say in a market like Bridgeport, Norwalk, and Stamford. These markets, you might be waiting a year or two for something that fits your needs. So in my opinion, Waterbury, Connecticut is a very balanced market. You can buy a property, rent it out. You're going to cash flow a little bit. And in my opinion, the property is going to appreciate a little bit. The big issue we have in Connecticut at the moment is supply. There's very little supply. And the biggest reason is regulation. They don't allow you to build real estate easily in Connecticut. Not only that, most of the land is developed, which means that this issue is not going anywhere soon. There seems to be a supply constraint that's going to stay here for a long time, if not forever. In a way, Connecticut, especially places that are about an hour to 2 hours from New York City, are experiencing what New York experienced, which is there's a lot of demand but little supply. So the prices stay strong and the prices stay high. Now I'm going to give you guys a market that, in my opinion, you should only buy if you want appreciation or if you have family there, because that changes things. And that is Bridgeport, Connecticut. Bridgeport, Connecticut used to be a cash flow market 5 years ago, 3 years ago, but that's not the case anymore. Now for a 3-family, you're going to be paying from $600,000 to $800,000. That is if you're able to find a property that you like, because Bridgeport, Connecticut has some major supply issue. There is no good multifamilies for sale, so when something does hit the market, expect to compete against 5 to 10 offers minimum. But this market is also going up in price significantly. So if you're an investor that banks on appreciation, this is a great market for you. Just 3-4 years ago, you would be able to get a 3-family for about 400 to 500,000. Right now, that same 3-family is going for between $600,000 to $800,000. So all those people that bought 3, 4, 5 years ago, they have about $200,000 to $400,000 in equity in their multifamily. Not only that, rents went up significantly. So rents back then for a 2 were about $1,600. Now they're closer to that $1,800-$1,900 mark. So properties were cash flowing back then. Think about how much they're cash flowing now per unit. The appreciation doesn't seem to be stopping in Bridgeport, Connecticut. They're building a lot of new luxury apartments where the rent is going to be much higher than what it is in the multifamilies, and that will eventually increase the price of the rents in the multifamily. Just to be clear, if you want cash flow, in my opinion, buy in New Haven at the moment. If you want a more balanced market, I believe Waterbury, Connecticut is a great market. And if you want appreciation, then Bridgeport, Connecticut is probably the best choice for you. If you don't like Bridgeport, Connecticut, then you can buy in Stamford and Norwalk, Connecticut, which are about 30 to 40 minutes from New York City. The only issue with those markets is that you're not going to cash flow or cash flow very little, but in a lot of cases, you're going to be cash flow negative. But some people are okay with that as long as the appreciation is there and the tax deductions are there. If you're looking to buy an investment property in Connecticut, I work with clients every day looking and analyzing deals for them. Give me a call or message me at the phone number on the screen, and I'll be more than happy to help you find the right property for your need. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.